I've got some nerdy stories from seeing Blackbraid, Murmuur, and Dodsrit last night, and 2 albums you should check out immediately. Death Metal Pug is next. Welcome back to Death Metal Pug. I'm Pugbraid. I want to be a rock star when I grow up. The purpose of this is to have fun and talk about music. If for some reason we can help out your band, project, or business, reach out to us at deathmetalpug@gmail.com. Are you interested in being a voice on Death Metal Pug? Reach out. I'd like to thank Peter Steele for being on last week's episode. Went to Reggie's last night to see Blackbraid. It was awesome. Holy shit, Dodsrit was awesome. Like nerdy black metal Iron Maiden. Their Nocturnal Will album was my most listened to album last year. I freaking love that thing, man. And I still learned so much about this band. Maybe expected, but it's basically comprised of like tree guitar nerds, basically. I did not know there were 3 guitarists in this thing. Yes, they have a bassist and drummer as well, of course. All 3 guitarists contribute vocals as well. Mostly 2 of them, but the one guy in like a cool like wolf shirt jumped in a few times for vocals as well. They traded out vocals and guitar lines throughout the songs. One thing I'm embarrassed that I did not catch in the tunes themselves is the tuning changes multiple times, like during the songs mid-set. During the mid-song they would adjust the tuning. What I guess I'll call the lead vocalist, it was crazy. He'd change his tuning, multiple like strings and everything. And then he would hold like these freaky guitar chords and kind of strum along. Like his pinky was almost like extended, like, you know, almost like making it harder than it kind of needed to be, or doing some kind of like crazy chord. But then also at the same time he'd tune up or down. I honestly don't know. And then he would play like straight line bars across the guitar in spots. So just like, you know, the finger, and then not really, you know, even a bar chord, but close, and just running it across that. And that was the whole like chord or you know, riff and such. Very interesting for us guitar nerds for sure. They were great. I think they played 5 songs. 3 from last year's Nocturnal Will album, the opener on the album, the closer on the album, and then Nocturnal Fire. Nocturnal Fire was fucking great. You know, if I was building the set, I'd add the song As Death Comes Reaping next time. But you know, give him a reason to come back, right? The lead vocalist guy was hawking merch like right after their set. Dude didn't even have like a glass of water by him, just cranking out like patches and shirts and stuff, you know. He declined a beer from me. Do you play guitar? Check out this band. Even if you don't play guitar, check out Dodsrit. I always forget the black metal shows bring out like a different kind of weird. I think there's some folks who only crawl out sometimes for just black metal. And Murmuur may have brought some of those fans. Although I did meet a friendly fan whose face was painted exactly like the lead singer's. I listened to Murmuur's last album and it didn't really connect with me, honestly. Although I thought it was more like culty or like modern kind of like black metal, but really like rock and roll vampires was kind of the vibe I got last night. Reminded me of that devil band. What was it called? They opened up for Holder. Devil something. What was that band? Why are all of you guys even here? Devil Master vibes. They're not going to be at the top of like my live show list this year, but they banged out some songs. Punky at times. I'd say they were best when like the thrash metal riffs were like loud and simple. I missed the first few songs. I was out getting merch and a beer. Reggie's had Delirium Tremens on tap last night. They also sell tourist overpriced shots of Malort, which cracks me up. Between the bands, I chatted with a dude who said his name was Frank, but this guy had the craziest black metal battle vest I've ever seen. He let me take some photos. So some of the bands on the jacket are like not even big enough to have merch, right? They're not even big enough to sell patches or maybe even like tour or form a band. And so he takes the logo, like probably the JPEG or something, and he hooks up with somebody on Etsy, and then they like create the patch, and then he makes a patch. The patch, he takes it and he puts it on this vest through that process. Incredibly gloriously nerdy hack. I absolutely love it. Be sure to zoom in on that like weird triangle one. I think the photo's on my phone. I think my phone's over there. Anyway, like Lampa Murmuur, I don't know any of their songs specifically, but they were a fun part of the vibe last night. You're sore. I ran a fucking 5K this morning, dude. Find a way to keep yourself in shape your whole life. It's not about now, dude. It's about when you get older. Move your body every day. I've actually seen Blackbraid once prior. From what I understand, it was their first tour. It was a Decibel Magazine tour with Cattle to Cap and Dark Funeral. A few different folks in the band now, I think. Definitely the bassist and the other guitarist, I think. The drummer, I can't tell. If you don't know, Blackbraid is an indigenous American themed melodic black metal band. They rocked it. Witch Hawk's vocals were killer last night. I thought later in this tour, like maybe they'd be wearing out a bit, but no, he rocked it. A lot of the songs were actually from Blackbraid 2. Spirit Remains, Wolf That Guides, and Moss Covered Bones. Moss Covered Bones is incredible live. I know it's an incredible song recorded too, but live it is 10 out of 10 as well. They also did that Bathory cover, Twilight Hymns from Blackbraid 2. A full-blown metal act. Feels like it's almost ready for stadiums. I don't know, I worry it's gonna get big. Reggie's was sold out last night, but it was a Saturday, and that place, you know, isn't that huge, man. From the first album, they did the hits, River of Time, Scandaga, and closed their set with the epic Barefoot Ghost Dance. I love that song. They still light a batch of weeds. Not weed, not like incense, but a small batch of like twigs, and then it kind of like burns around in you know, during the live set for it. It's just Barefoot Ghost Dance is just such a cool song that has like such an epic climax to it. Not much from the new album, which surprised me. Although last time I saw them, they only had out Blackbraid 1, and Blackbraid 2 only had like a single or two out. It didn't have the full album out yet. They opened the night with War Drums at Dawn, and how could they not? no acoustic beginning. Instead, we're treated to a hip-hop style rap song before the band ripped into war drums at dawn on the day of my death. Yeah, if you don't know, Blackbraid is not beating around the bush with the Native American genocide we committed about 250, 350 years back or whatever it is. Dying Breath of a Sacred Stag was also played, putting a smile on my face. I think that is like such a cool song. If this Blackbraid and Dodsrit tour is coming by you and not sold out, go see it. Jeremy Shirts is next. I met up with Jeremy and others at Reggie's the other night for the concert, and we're actually getting a lot of questions about Jeremy, which we didn't expect. Let me be clear, Jeremy is a great guy, smart, super into metal, and some of you are asking questions about him on email. The questions are getting interesting, like what band is he in? Some other questions are like, does he fly? And I assume you don't mean like an airplane, but like he's a Superman, or maybe you mean like he's a pilot. Some of you asked if he's real or a spirit. A few relationship questions have come in. He is a married man who has raised a fine young man with his wife. Jeremy is not afraid of the dark side. So here is him outside of Reggie's in his portrayal of one of his Portrayal of Guilt t-shirts. Do you know the band Portrayal of Guilt? They have a rather like infamous album released about 4 or 5 years back. It was definitely after the pandemic. I'm pretty sure if you want to look that one up. I'm not even gonna say the title of that album because like it's it's infamous. Portrayal of Guilt, out on Reggie's patio. Jeremy Shirts. A few new albums worth considering. Suffering Hour released the Impelling Rebirth EP. I've actually only heard it a few times since it just came out Friday, October 3rd. Suffering Hour's Cyclic Reckoning album should be something you have listened to. The first 3 songs on that album are incredible. Check out Suffering Hour's new EP, Impelling Rebirth. Have you heard this Sallow Moth album? Holy shit. Sallow Moth released Mossbane Lantern August 1st. How can I describe Sallow Moth, this album? Mixed like Artificial Brain, Imperial Triumphant, but it was done by like one guy. It's crazy music, but I know some of you like this like niche weird stuff. There's just so much to it. They have 2 other prior albums, which adds up to like a year's worth of listening and understanding one band. Just crazy stuff. Sallow Moth, Mossbane Lantern. People say we're biased towards Chicago bands, and I would say that's because we're near Chicago, dipshit. I'm drawing attention to the band Motherless. Its new album, Do You Feel Safe, was released September 12th. Loud, not nuanced, crust punk, but slower, like sludgier. Kudos on one of the best band photos I've seen in a while. Find that clown photo of them. Nasty, no breaks, heavy. Check out Motherless' new album, Do You Feel Safe? No, I do not. I'm popping up my most listened to stuff in September. It's all stuff mentioned on prior videos, but don't stop watching the video because there's some more unique introspective thoughts on it for sure. Blackbraid, obviously, new album and the tour In Mourning's new album is stellar. Deftones from their new album, and then reviewing ones from the past and kind of thinking about them. I really got back into that Ohms album. Been a long time. I hadn't picked that up, and I was like, I kind of listened to that for quite a bit as well. Hooded Menace, of course, and that excluded the time that I had from like listening to the album before it came out and like just listening to it a different way. So those minutes weren't even like credited to it, which were probably more, quite frankly. Revocation's new album, New Gods, New Masters, is killer too, especially tracks 6 through 8, and track 2 is great too. Starts an album on track 2. A lot of albums repeated from the artist tops, you know, and this, flipping over to this, mentioning Bruce Dickinson, a nostalgic album for me, More Balls Than Picasso. I listened to that like in high school, you know. Also, Dying Remains' new album, Merciless Suffering, is killer. Love it. Song-wise, songs, right? In Mourning. Man, Silver Crescent is just so killer. In Mourning, if you like Iotum, Maiden maybe, and like this European stuff like Dodsrit, I think you're gonna dig this. Goose Pimples on Silver Crescent, if you've ever heard it, if you know what I mean. Do you know what Goose Pimples are? A call to war in honor and death. Death metal.